Hey guys, I'm back, and I got a knife that I am particularly excited about today. It's something that I've actually wanted to get my hands on for a while, and just every time it came up to getting it, something else came up, and I just didn't. And then I finally decided to just pull the trigger on it and do it. And this is an example of why I need to actually sometimes not be an idiot and read the specs when I'm getting a knife, because it's not what I'm expecting, the size of it anyway, just based on the box. Haven't opened it yet. Today we're going to be looking at the Kershaw Payload, which I expected to be a certain kind of size, and, well, it doesn't look like it is what I was assuming it was. Now, going back a ways a little bit, if you remember, we did a whole video on the Kershaw Shuffle, and I'm going to put a link to that in the video description, again, like I did in the decoy video for people who haven't seen it. One of the models we looked at was the Shuffle DIY, which was the small kind of EDC size of the Shuffle, but it also included a bit driving end and storage for a couple bits, you know, that you might use frequently, so that you had them just for easy access and use, you know, throughout your day. Well, I kind of assumed when I looked at the Payload that it would be roughly the same size as the Shuffle for some reason. I don't know. Clearly not. It's a bit bigger, but that's cool. I'm happy. I like a bigger knife. So we're going to look at it and we're going to compare it to some other Kershaws of similar design today. Before we even open this up, I want to go way back, a knife I've had for years and years, the Kershaw Select-Fire. This is a knife that I have had, I can't even remember when I got it, well over 5 years now. This is one of the first knives that I got that kind of was not a multi-tool, but a knife with multi-purpose. And you know what? You can find these now with different brand names and everything on it. I'm pretty sure that Ravencrest sells one of these for way more than what the Kershaw costs. Once upon a time, and this is, you know, reaching back, this blue handle here was like a Walmart exclusive one. That's why it has the WM on it. The original one was just black. But I mean, I've seen this, you know, budget brands now and everything with their name on it. But basically, it's just a knife, a simple Kershaw knife, drop point blade, and it has a small ruler and a bit holder, and it comes with spaces for 4 bits. They're spring-loaded, and you can put whatever you want in there. It comes with these 4 bits, and there you go. Oh, and bottle opener. I need to get a sound effect to play, like a shocking, like dum dum dum, every time I see a bottle opener. But the Select-Fire was actually, you know, when I first got it, I thought it was really cool. And I don't think I've ever, I don't know if there's a video that this is even in. I had one with just the plain black handle that I carried around a lot, that I actually used for a while. I'd have no idea what happened to it. I have no idea where it is. But this is one of the first Kershaws that I remember owning that had that kind of multi-purpose, multi-tool-ish function to it. Fast forward a while later, there's the Shuffle DIY, complete with bottle opener. Dun, 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 since I don't have a sound effect yet. But I've been looking at the Payload for a while because it looked like something intermediate between the two of these to me, because I was too dumb and I didn't read the specs. Well, apparently, it looks like it's going to end up being bigger than both of these, which, like I said, I'm fine with. But on the, you know, the pictures and everything, I really thought it looked like a Shuffle with just maybe a different shaped blade or something. So I'm excited to see what this actually ends up being. That is a bit bigger and bulkier than both of them. So there it is against the Select-Fire. And, I mean, it calls the DIY little baby brother. But the makeup of it is pretty similar to both of these. You've got a liner lock, I know that. Liner lock knife. Plastic scales, big plastic backspacer. It's got a bit driver, but it's kind of retracted into there. It's got a push button feature that brings the bit driver out. It holds 4 bits, like the Select-Fire, so more options than the DIY, but it also has what I think is a much nicer blade. It's a bit heavier than the other two also. Just a drastically different design, really, than both of them. And no bottle opener. Yay! So let's just take a look, before we open it up. Let's go through the standard stuff. So fit and finish, just going on, perusing around the outside. Everything looks pretty good. Everything is put together nicely. Plastic backspacer, I think I already said that. But scales match to the liners really well. All the screws look like they are even and put in there pretty well. Actually, so this comes with 5 bits as opposed to the Select-Fire's 4, because I can see one in there now. Decent pattern to the scales. Not that grippy though. I mean, yeah, it's got some grip, but definitely better than the DIY, but not by much. The DIY does have this nice jimping on top though, which this doesn't have. Here's to a true deep carry clip though, that is actually going to put it deeply in your pocket. So the Select-Fire, not at all. The DIY, not at all. But the Payload, yeah, it's a very short, stubby, but looks like a pretty effective deep carry clip. There's just going to be the slightest little bit sticking up over your pocket edge when you're carrying it. Select-Fire allows you to switch the clip back and forth, so left and right, tip down. No option here. It is right-handed, tip down only. So the Payload is right-handed, tip up only with. So this Payload is right-handed, tip up only with no options. All right. I'm dying to see this blade. Are these plastic thumb studs? Interesting. And that is a big blade. It almost looks like a sheep's foot, but it's got that little reverse tanto shape in it. I think it beats the pants off of either of these. If you compare the drop point to the Select-Fire, I have not seen a Select-Fire yet with a straight edge. Now, that doesn't mean they don't make them. I just haven't had one. And you lose, I think, more than half of your edge to the serrations as compared to the Payload, which looks about the same blade length. I don't know the exact measurements. I'll have to put them in text, but nice, big. Oh, and you got jimping top and bottom for a good grip. So, makes up for the slightly non-grippy pattern there. Very comfortable to hold. Feels like it's like made for working, It is made in China, and it is your standard Kershaw made in China steel, I'm sure. I'll put the exact composition in there. Definitely, you get a much better grip than you do on this little guy. And much more blade surface to work with. Liner lock. I'm trying to get a shot of it. Nice early lockup. Solid. Not breaking that lock anytime soon. Not hard to get to at all to close it up. You almost kind of have 2 options the way the scale is made. So if you want to get your thumb in there, a little smaller area, but very easy to do. Oh, that's smooth too. Or you've got kind of a wider area down south of where the pivot is, and you can unlock it there if you want. It's not as comfortable, but it works. Of course, not bearings, it's all washers. You can see them in there, but it's smooth. It's a very smooth knife. Centering, I think, is like 1 millimeter off center perfect, but whatever. I'm okay with that. The shape of the handle is really comfortable, and the jimping on the top and the bottom, it feels really good. Like feel like you got a really solid grip on this thing. This clearly is a workman's knife. It is a knife for getting stuff done. It's not fancy. It's not pretty. I can imagine carrying this around, on a job site or something, and really putting it to good use. Camping, fishing, out in the woods. Sure, I think the blade would be great. I don't know how much you're going to do with the other stuff, but I mean, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? But it does look like a really functional, good-sized blade. So you got a little F button. I don't know what F particularly stands for over there, but we'll just call it the function button. You can assign the F value of your own. So you hit your F button, and your bit driver pops forward. You don't get as big a range as you do with the Select-Fire. So if you got a tighter space, that's not getting in there. But you do get, I don't know, about just as much distance as you would with the DIY. It comes with the T6 mounted. Pretty easy to get these bits in and out of the handle. They slide and then they're ramped, so they come right out. Even though these are all standard size 1/4 inch bits, I've got that nice little ball bearing to lock them in place. I don't know if this is magnetic, and I don't have, you know what? Actually, you can find out right now. Just grab one of these. It is. So it's magnetic. So any bit will hold in there nice and firm as well. It's just nice to have that extra lock. Put the bit driver back in. You hold your F button again, slide it in, and it locks in place. Not bad at all. I've really wanted these for a while. Now the price on this, I didn't understand why it was so much as compared to the DIY. Again, because, you know, me being an idiot, not reading the specs, I really figured it was about the same size. And the pictures, you know, it looks kind of, I don't know, I guess looking at it now, I should have known it was much bigger, but it's more knife. It definitely is more knife. And it was actually out of stock a few of the times I was going to get it. You just couldn't find it. Fits in the pocket pretty well. Not a whole lot sticking up over there. Took me a little bit to work that clip in, though. It's a really tight clip to get it in there. And it holds well. It holds pretty tight. I'm going to have to break that clip in pretty well to get, you know, standard daily use out of it. But at least you know that knife is not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, just because I'm an overcritical bastard about everything, if I had some complaints, if I was going to have any, I'd like a little bit easier access to the thumb studs. I can imagine under some working conditions, your thumb could slide a little bit. I'd like this to be a little bit thinner, or I'd like the thumb studs to be just a little bit wider. If you make sure your thumb's planted there, it's pretty easy, but it could be a little bit more pronounced. And guys, I'm really nitpicking now. I'm looking for things so that I have some stuff to say, hey, this could be improved. I really have to look for things to complain about. So clip is incredibly tight, needs to be broken in. Slightly better access to the thumb studs, but besides that, I'm really happy with this. I wish I had decided to invest in it a long time ago. I think the weight is great. It feels heavier than it looks like it should weigh, but I like that. I don't know how many times I've said I like a slightly heavier knife. When I'm carrying something, I like the weight there so that I know if I drop it. So I know if I've forgotten it. And, you know, I know if it's not in my pocket. I like a tool that I know I've got it in my hand. I know there are tons of people that like a nice light knife. And there are certain cases where I do like it to be a little bit lighter. But, you know, for my EDC kind of knife, I do like it to have a little bit of weight to it. And this has just the right weight. And the balance feels really, really good. It's pretty cool. I'm a fan. Also, little features like the little details mean a lot to me. Take a look at the way they mounted these bits. They made sure to put a little bit of ramping up in front of the bits. It's hard for something to accidentally push those bits out of place. They're kind of protected from where they are. So it's easy access for you, separated from the scale for you to get your thumb on there and slide them out, but it's not like anything can easily just come behind them and push them out by accident. I love the fact that Kershaw usually takes the time to put those little, you know, details in there to make your knife really functional out in the world. I think this would look absolutely awesome with a satin finish instead of the bead blast, but that's something you can, you know, if you really want to do that, you can polish off a bead blast finish and you know, hand rub it with some sandpaper or something to satinize it. Let's take a look though at the blade. It feels like I'm just slicing through air. Nothing at all. And when you've got all that belly to cut with, nice straight blade, beautifully clean cuts with no force whatsoever. I feel like if you needed to, you could chop your way through some stuff with this knife too. I'm not going to chop on this table right now, but you know, it's got just enough weight to really give you a little bit of leverage there, but not so much that it's too heavy. I think this is a great knife. I'm kicking myself that I didn't pick it up sooner to give it a real try. I think that in the Kershaw family of these kind of multi-purpose tool carrying knives, I think it fits in great in the lineup where you have the Select-Fire, you have the DIY, and then you have the payload for the bigger, more heavy-duty type work. You can still find the Select-Fire. It's out there. Very common. And like I said, you can get some really cheap. I don't know if it's, if the other brands are copies or they just buy them from the same factory that Kershaw does and they put their name on it. I really couldn't comment on that. I know I've seen them around. And like I said, Ravencrest sells one. It's the exact same thing with their name on it. If you want something very unobtrusive, very small, the DIY is probably a good way to go. But if I had to choose between the two of them, I mean, I think all the way around, the payload's a bit more expensive. I think it's money well spent, though. I think it's definitely worth the extra dollars. It just feels more solid than the Select-Fire. And again, having had one that I carried and used quite a bit, I know this is, first world problems, knife collection problems. I have so many great EDC-worthy knives. I'm not sure which one I want to carry from day to day, but I want to carry them all to really fully test them and give them a workout. All right, guys, not too much more to say about this, except I really think it's worth giving it a shot. So, as usual, guys, thanks for watching. I value your opinion. Let me know what you think about this. If you have, actual carry experience, by all means, chime in. Let us know. But in the meantime, you are all completely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you out there, and I'll be back again real soon.